There is one skill that is absolutely vital to you becoming a more successful human being, crushing problems, and making headway in your life. If you're good at this, there's almost no limit to what you can achieve. And if you're bad at this, you're going to be stumped by any sort of problem that you come across. Here's what I'm talking about. From a young age, we come across problems, and we're taught to ask for our mom or our dad. In school, you're supposed to ask the teacher. And now we have this situation where you come across a problem and your first inclination is to fall back and basically say, yeah, I'll ask the God figure. I'll ask my mom, my dad, my teacher, my boss, my manager, my coworker. And that is the exact opposite of what you should be doing. This skill, in a way, is the difference between being an adult and being a child. And unfortunately, many people never make it to adulthood. They stay a child forever. What you need to be able to do is to think through a problem. Use that gray sponge in between your ears, because you have roughly the same gray sponge as the next guy. Richest people in the world have roughly the same between their ears as you do. The difference is they actually use it to think through problems. And they follow a very simple sequence of thinking steps. When you're confronted with a problem, when there's something in your path, when you struggle with something, the first thing you need to do, step one, is to identify the problem clearly. You need to know what you're struggling with. And a lot of people miss the boat completely on this. I get questions from people asking, I can't find clients. And that's the question. Well, setting aside the fact that it's not even a question, it's just a statement of fact. You clearly haven't gone through the trouble of thinking about what your exact problem is. Because your exact problem might be, I sent out 1,000 emails and I'm not getting any replies. Why is that? That might be the thing that you're struggling with. Or I sent out 3 emails and I'm not getting any replies. Those two things are very different problems. Or I can't find any clients to send emails to. So I want to send out more emails, but I don't know how to do it. And notice that those 3 things could be hidden in that initial question, because the question is very poorly thought out. I made this video, doesn't get any views. How come? I can't make any sales. I can't get any viewers. I can't make any sales. I'm fat. All of those things are more or less statements of fact, so complaints rather. But they lack the depth necessary to actually know what is the issue at hand. Because as soon as you know the issue at hand, you're able to look at possible solutions. It's very similar to a doctor doing a diagnosis, walking you through a couple questions to get clear, what is the actual problem that you're struggling with? What is the actual ailment? And when he's done that, now he can look at possible solutions, which is the same thing you should do. What are a couple things that I could do? What are my options on the board that I could implement and see if they work or not? So step 1 is identifying the actual problem, the obstacle in your path. And step 2 is consider possible solutions. This takes some brain power, takes some thinking power, which is great. That's what your brain is for. And it may feel uncomfortable in the beginning because you're taught to just read the book, memorize the information, wait for the test, and then they give you a multiple choice question and you just pick the right box. This is not how life works. In life, you're supposed to distill the actual question. They're not giving you the test question in life. You have to distill it yourself. What am I actually struggling with? And then in life, they don't give you A, B, C, D. You have to make the A, B, C, D. You have to identify the different options available to you. So step 3 is you have to pick one of the options that you deem most likely to help you in solving your issue. So we identify the problem, we look at possible solutions, we pick a possible solution, and then we test it. We put it into practice. We give it enough time, or we give it enough tries. We actually give it the chance to prove itself or disprove itself. And then the last step is that we evaluate how well our solution is working. If it's working, awesome. Fix the problem. Let's go. On to the next one. If it's not, we have to go back to the drawing board. I identified this as a problem. I thought this was going to be a good solution. Apparently it isn't. Is there something wrong in my view of the actual problem? Am I overlooking something? And then you go to the other solutions that are available to you, pick the next one, etc. This is like a very systematic way of working through a problem. And it also works. It's the way we solve problems. And there's nothing wrong with failing, with picking the wrong solution, or picking a solution and then finding out that this was not the right solution. That's the way we've always done things. But at least you're using your brain. This skill, the skill of critical thinking, of creative problem solving, putting in the brain calories to find out what is hindering you, what is holding you back, what you could do yourself to get that obstacle out of the way. It's super underrated. It's one of the most important things to do if you actually want to make it in life. And I would highly, highly recommend you start implementing this simple, problem-solving way of thinking.